Sean, what's the key to getting the offense going better to start the second half? You think you guys have 3 points the whole season in the third quarter. What have you seen that's kept you off and doing well, and what do you guys have to do to get that going?
Sure. Anytime that you've been able to start the games the way we have in the first half, you want to try to carry that over into the second half. And credit to some of the defenses that we played last week against Philadelphia. We come out with 2 runs. They stop us in a short yardage situation, and they did a nice job there. But we've got to figure out a way to, create some momentum coming out of the half, whether that be getting some explosive plays or just being more efficient on first and second down so that we can move the chains and come away with points. And obviously we'd like to come away with touchdowns. But that's something that, each game is its own entity. We've had 4 games, and I feel like, you really look at the Giants game, we were able to move the football down the field the first drive we had in the second half, and unfortunately we turned it over. I want to say we were around like the 35-yard line with the tip pick. And then in some of those other situations, there's always a little bit of an individual thing and circumstance that comes up, but that's certainly a point of emphasis for us is coming out of that half and with a little bit better momentum.
What is the challenge for you without Jordan Reed, without Deshaun Jackson as well?
Yeah, it's a big challenge. Anytime that you're trying to replace 2 great players like them, guys need to step up, and that's a common theme around this league. There's a bunch of great players, and unfortunately, injuries are something that occur, and we're expecting these guys that will be filling those roles to step up and deliver when their number's called.
Make it harder to both those guys, Reed and Jackson, sometimes can take the attention away. Maybe get 2 guys going with them, someone else gets open. Does it make it even harder if you don't have a guy like that, or can you still get guys in those situations?
Well, certainly any time that you have elite players like those 2, it makes your job a lot easier as a coach, and sometimes they will dictate specific coverages and things based on whatever the situation might be. So, we've just got to do a good job executing versus the looks that we get, and we're confident that Kirk will make good decisions and our skill players will make those plays when they're asked.
You're going up against a high-scoring offense. Defense is a little banged up, especially in the backfield. Do you feel any urgency to try to, score? I know you always want to score points, but is there more urgency in knowing you need to score 28, 30 some odd points to win?
Sure, they're a great offense. I think our focus offensively is to try to play the best efficient football that we can, and that's sustaining drives. That's when you get into the red zone, coming away with touchdowns, and you always take into account what's going to be our overall approach and team philosophy for what's going to give us the best chance to win. And for us, it's playing efficient football offensively, taking care of the football, and being able to sustain some drives and keep them off the field.
Describe Derek Carrier's game. What kind of a tight end is he? What does he do well? What kind of distinguishes him from maybe a different tight end?
Yeah, I think he's a very athletic tight end. He moves around well. I think he competes well in both phases. He obviously hasn't had a lot of opportunities in the past game, but you see when he does, he's got the ability to get up the field. He caught a stick route last week on a 2nd and 16 situation, gets us into a 3rd and 1. So he is somebody that can do some things with the football in his hands once he gets it there because he is athletic. And I think Wes is doing a great job as he's continuing to get more and more comfortable with some of the scheme things that we're doing technique-wise in the run game. And he's a guy that's got a lot of upside that gets better each and every week.
Featured obviously Chris Thompson a lot on the first drive last week and had success with it. How much has he evolved in just the last year or so since getting cut down to the 53 last year and then kind of rebounding?
Yeah, really happy for Chris in the way that he has matured and, being able to stay healthy. He's always been a guy that's had a bunch of talent, real conscientious, smart, aware football player, and, he's been crucial for us. He had 2 huge 3rd downs conversions for us on that drive, and, the run on the draw was outstanding. It was our longest play of the year at that point, and then he comes back on a 3rd and short where they're in man coverage, and we hit him on a screen. So very pleased with him. He's an important part of what we're trying to do, and I think Coach Jordan does an excellent job with all those backs and kind of having them understand what their role is within the framework of our offense and how they can maximize that.
Sean, have you stayed in contact with Kyle and Raheem and all the other coaches who are down there? And what have the conversations been like in the past little while?
Oh, sure. Those are some of my best friends. I have a lot of respect for those guys. Really happy to see how well they've done, actually. I told them, I said, hey, there's nothing wrong with going 15-1, guys. So I'm happy for them, but I keep in regular touch with them. They're close friends of mine, and unless we're playing them, I'm always rooting for those guys to do well.
To kind of play off what Tarek was just saying is that, Leonard Hankerson and Nick Williams, guys that obviously played for you, Are you impressed with what they're doing with them there, and is it something that you always thought that they could do if given opportunities?
Yeah, I'm really happy for those guys. They've always been good, productive football players, and when you look at the success that those guys have had offensively, I think it's a credit to their coaching staff. I have a lot of respect for Kyle. A lot of things that I've been able to learn in the short time I've been coaching is a credit to him. I think he sees the game well. I think he's an excellent communicator, and he does a great job of putting players in positions to have success. And seeing the Chris Chesters, the Nick Williams, and Leonard Hankersons do as well as they are, it doesn't surprise me one bit. And I think it's a credit to the players and the coaching staff.
4 games in, you can begin to see some trends. How would you rate your offensive line play through these 4 games?
I think they've been outstanding. They've protected the quarterback well. I think we've been able to run the football efficiently. So they're playing at a high level right now, and I thought it was really encouraging to see, missing Sean McVay last week, the way that Spencer Long stepped in his real first big-time action in a game that really mattered. I thought he responded to the challenge, and I think Coach Callahan does an excellent job with those guys, and we've got some veteran leadership up front with guys like Corey and Trent that do an excellent job keeping everybody in line, and then the young 3 guys that are playing for us are continuing to get better each and every week.
Sean, ask Kirk about this Wednesday. How has he gotten better in some of the little areas? He talks about footwork all the time and how important that is, but little pump fakes, little ways to kind of manipulate the pocket, manipulate safeties. How has he evolved in just the last 4 games?
Yeah, well, he's certainly such a conscientious guy that he's going to do everything he can to continue to improve as he plays that position. And as he gains experience, I think you'll only see him get better. He's a guy that wants to be coached hard. And you talk about the footwork, the feel, pocket presence. I think all those things are improving, and you're able to recognize coverages better, understand where, based on whatever concept is called, the progression's going to take me. And I think those are things that he'll only continue to get better and better at because he is such a conscientious guy and he's so coachable. Thanks, guys.